So, welcome to the introduction to the Bricks by the Beach, the LEGO Serious Play Methods training that we'll be offering in Da Nang in April. And just very briefly about me, and I'll introduce a couple of other people who are on the call with me a little bit later. I'm Dr. David Newman. I teach at the University of British Columbia. I teach creativity. I have taught at the Solvay Business School and run workshops for a number of organizations in Vietnam. I used to live in Hong Kong. I spent about 12 years in Hong Kong, but I haven't actually done any LEGO Serious Play there. I have been basically COVID was where I was trained. During COVID, I was trained and I started using LEGO Serious Play with my students at UBC, and it really just grew from there. So when I'm talking about LEGO Serious Play, what is it I'm talking about? And LEGO Serious Play is a facilitated workshop methodology. And so this is something where we're running a workshop, but we're actually using Lego and other pieces, other forms of hands-on pieces to facilitate the session. And we're doing this because there are a number of things that this this hands-on workshop will do. So it's activating the hand-mind thinking process. We are able to get an active participation in a way that we found that doesn't work to quite the same degree in other methods. We're able to get clearer communication and think about ideas faster and mapping out different systems and scenarios. But what's essentially happening is we're able to take the ideas that are in our mind and we're able to externalize them and create an external representation of those ideas. So what does a LEGO Serious Play session then look like? Well, a lot of it actually isn't spent on building. A lot of the time in a LEGO Serious Play session is spent on discussion and talking, and either sharing what different models mean. It might be a model a bit like this, and here we've got a Brits by the Beach themed model. Or it's a discussion about different elements of the model and how they come together as a group. And it's that discussion that's really the key part of a LEGO Serious Play session. So it's about, as I've got here on the slides, you're thinking different ideas, you're able to have different conversations, there are insights that emerge as a result of those discussions and those ideas, and then you're able to take actions that you may not have otherwise taken. So it's really at the core of it, LEGO Serious Play is about helping you to find better actions to take than if you'd just been having a discussion. It's a powerful method, and why is it so powerful? It's because of the hand-mind connection. Now, our fingers, our hands, are connected to about 70% of our brain. And I've got on the next slide, I'm showing this as well. But the fact that this is the most connected part of our body means that we're able to use the largest amount of our brain when we are using the Lego or we're building and using this in a session. It's also a process. So it isn't just the fact that we've got our hands on a Lego. It's also a process. And it's that process in itself which is very simple, but it's a process that ensures that everyone has a voice. Everyone in the room who is part of this has a voice in the process. And if you think about many meetings, how many people are involved, and often 80% of the talking is happening from a small number of people, maybe two or three people, and they tend to dominate the meeting. This process actually changes that to having everyone having a voice, and those who tend to be more dominant, they actually have less of the floor space. They don't get to speak as much. Because of this, and because we're using an external objects, it's creating something what we call external cognition. And in that process, it's creating the space for psychological safety. where it's creating the space where people are able to talk about ideas without it being such a personal idea to them. And it's a playful experience in that. Then they're able to be more open, and you're able to get this happening faster than if you're in a more conventional um, discussion. Now, underlying this are two very fundamental things for us as humans. You're using metaphor. In the use of the bricks, you're able to you create symbols or representations of ideas, and then you're telling stories about them. And we've been telling stories as a species before we had written language. If you go back to the cave paintings, 30,000 years ago, and those images up in the caves in France, those are stories. That's just showing that how we as a species have been telling stories for many, many years. So it was something that Johann Roos, and Johann Roos was one of the co-founder of the Lego Serious Play method, a Swiss business school professor at the time. He talked about changing the process to change the outcome. And so that's what we're doing in Lego Serious Play. We have a particular process that we use that enables new income and new outcomes, new insights as a result. Now, if you take a look at this picture here, and this is a representation, this is called a homunculus corticus, but it's a representation of all the parts of our body mapped to our brain. And as you can see, the hands are huge. Also, the mouth and the tongue are huge. And what this is it's a map of how all the different parts of our body are mapped onto the surface of the brain, of our brain cortex. And the hands had the biggest mapping. So this is why when we do something like Lego Serious Play, something where we're using our hands, we're actually connecting with a lot more of our brain. You see, the mouth and the tongue are also very prominent in this. And so if you think about young children, toddlers, now what are they doing? Well, they like to touch everything, and they like to put things in their mouths. Now, I don't recommend with Lego Serious Play that people be putting the bricks in their mouth, but that's why toddlers do it, because again, it's accessing a larger portion of their brain, and this is how they're learning. Think of the hands and the mouth as being search engines for them, and so this is how they are able to process information in the environment around them. So I've been talking a lot about process, but this is one where everyone is involved, where everyone gets to build responses to a question. And then they're sharing about it, and everyone else is listening. This is what you can see in this image, is the focus on the model and what's been shared. And as a result of this, you're able to get deeper discussions with the group that you're working with. So there are the factors. I've talked about the engagement, 100% engagement, psychological safety. It's playful. People remember back to their childhood and being able to build and play with Lego. And sometimes you get people who haven't used Lego before, but everyone is able to access. It's a very simple process. And then the use, metaphor, and story. So this is something that was originally developed back in the latter part of the 1990s in the Lego Group in Denmark, and then it started to evolve and move into other areas. It started off with being used for strategic planning, moving away from spreadsheets and numbers into can we use some other things in the planning process. And now there's a whole range of different areas. And I'm not going to read everything on the slide, but it's something that is used in organizations. It's used, and you're going to see on the next slide, a whole range of organizations who use it. It's used in the innovation process and ideation. It can be used in planning research, developing research in research institutions and universities. On a smaller scale, it gets used by coaches. It can be used on a one-on-one basis with coaches and with their coachees in sessions. It's increasingly been used in leadership development. One example of this is the US Air Force. In their US Air Force Academy, they use this as part of their training of Air Force officers. Conflict resolution. I've heard of a case in the United Kingdom in maximum security prisons, where it gets used in conflict resolutions with maximum security inmates. It has been used in developing psychological safety or in training people in psychological safety. I use it in the teaching, and it's used in many different places in teaching. And so there may be, no, there are other cases, and I'm going to ask Michaelis Lanan to speak shortly about um, just places where they've been able to use it. But I've talked about it being widely used. It's used in many Fortune 500 companies. And if you could just see from these logos, this is just a small sample of some of the major organizations and educational organizations who are using this as part of their operations. Now, I'm not saying that they're using it right across the whole organization. In most cases, that's not the case. But there are parts of the organization who are using LEGO Serious Play in some form of it. Now, it's been there's increasing amounts of research that has been done as well on LEGO Serious Play. And this is an example from Gartner. And Gartner do a lot of research in terms of organization and innovation. And they came out with a piece about a year ago now, where they were looking at innovation practices. And you can see the red arrow on this slide is pointing to where they've got LEGO Serious Play as an emerging innovation practice. So that this is listing a whole range of different innovation practices. So it has things like business model canvas and hackathons and lean startups, and you may have heard of some of these. And it's included LEGO Serious Play. They did a study into where it is in the market. What they came up with, and what they're suggesting, is that probably less than 5% of the potential market for LEGO Serious Play at this point are aware of it or using it, and that there's 5 to 10 years before LEGO Serious Play actually reaches maturity. So we're in the early stages of this being adopted. There's out of the UK, this research report last year, effective, where they looked at it in with team coaching and team facilitation. And what they did in the study was they measured the level of psychological safety and team cohesion in a small number of different teams. And this was set up, and this was a proper scientific study. And what they did with half the teams was they did some development work. They ran a workshop using LEGO Serious Play. And with the other teams, they were using just normal team facilitation methods. And they measured it right before the workshop, after the workshop, and then after 8 weeks. And so the green lines on these two charts, this is what happened with team coaching with using LEGO Serious Play. And you can see in both cases, both with psychological safety and with team cohesion, that they were able to get much stronger results, much better results. Even after 8 weeks, the results were lasting and were higher than what team facilitation, which is the blue line and lower line, was at its peak. That there was a much stronger response. So much more psychological safety. It was lasting team cohesion. So this just gives you a very broad overview of this. And I'm going to ask I've Lanan and maybe Michaelis after this. And maybe if you can just share a little bit about how you have used LEGO Serious Play. And I'm going to just stop the share so we go back to the main screen. So, Lana,
Thank you, David, for introducing me to the to share about the Lego Serious Play. Um, I have been using Lego Serious Play in my work for nearly 1 year, I think, since my get the certification as the LSP facilitator, and oh, maybe I share a little bit my background. I'm working now in a German company, and we have a current an available facility already, and now we are investing in new project. And I use the Lego Serious Play for both working environment for the for my current company. We use Lego Serious Play for like strategy, brainstorming, and also resolution. And also, I also use it for like in coaching when I do some when I have some coaching session with my team, or we also I also use it especially in my training. For the new project, actually I use it for the team to for them to bring the ideas how to build a new company with the culture, how they see it, how they expect from the leadership team, how they see the what is the like the ideal leadership team for them. So based of that, we develop development program for the people, and how so we bring this the results of the Lego Serious Play session to the table with the leadership team, and prepare program how to develop it, how to make it how to make it how to make it come true, and this is what I do in what I apply Lego Serious Play in my company. I also support some clients um to with Legos. We applied it during the like some big groups discussion. Um, like it was like last year we had the I joined the meeting with the in PepsiCo in Vietnam. They use it for um, resolving the conflict between the two departments. So the result was amazing, and people really like it. A lot of fun. Um, Even they had a very hard conversation, and the leaders they was afraid that people will come to the meeting with very aggressive attitude because they had the big conflict. But at the end, everything they came up with the good results. People understand each other. They can share their voice, and yeah, it was. But without any angers or like aggressive attitude during the meeting. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much. Michaelis, would you like to maybe share just want to know some areas where you've seen it used?
Yes. Hi, Samantha and Jong. I see we have another participant
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah,
Welcome.
my name is Michalis or Michael from Germany. My roots are from Greece. So I was born and grew up here in Germany. And since 2017, I work more and more with Lego Serious Play. Um, I get more than 10 certifications all over the world. The reason was that I was not that I don't understand it. The reason was I had to the wish to learn more and more from other people's. And since 3 years, I'm a teacher as a LSP master trainer. I go around of the world in Melbourne with Michael Fern. Last year in October, I teach more than 19 people in Casablanca in Morocco, also in England and London. And now I'm a part of the team in Da Nang for the master class, and I provided not only courses or certification courses in-house and open courses, but I provide 2 or 3 times in a week workshops. Yesterday and the last 2 days I was in Stuttgart in the south of Germany, and I provide workshops at the Porsche company. I was invited from a big association of HR, because we have here in Germany the problem that the big companies and small companies, it's very difficult to get trainees for the company, and it's a very big problem and topic. And we developed some workshops how we can um, get better chances to get good trainees, not only to get the trainees, but to hold them in the company for 20 or 30 years. Um, this is one of the main topics in the last months. Also, the topic of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN nations, the SDGs. So I combine it with several topics of business contexts, like the business canvas. We tell you more later
Yep.
about this. This is my world here in Germany. And I think here in Germany, I'm one of the most popular LSP master trainers. There are many more here in Germany, but I think I'm one of the active people here.
Yep. Thank you very much, Michaela. So appreciate that. And so both Michaelis and Lanan will be in Vietnam, will be in Da Nang with us. Lanan will be a part of the team for the certification, and then Michaelis will be on with the advanced certification. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Miriam O'Donoghue may join us shortly. She may or may not come in. She's traveling at the moment. But let me go back to the slides and talk about the training that's coming up. So on the 12th and 13th of April in Da Nang, we're going to be at the beach resort in Da Nang. These are full-day trainings, but it's beside the beach. We'll be finishing early enough that you'll be able to go out and enjoy being on the sand and be there at sunset. But before that, the weekend before that, we will have probably a 2-hour session on Zoom doing some of the theory and the introductions and some of the background information. And then we go into the training on the day. So you'll see, but we've got the trainers for this, and this is unusual for us to have a team of trainers, and it's an international team that we're bringing into Vietnam. So Michael Fern, who wasn't able to join us today, he's coming in from Australia. He is the founder of the LSP method. So he was trained as a facilitator originally about 12, 13 years ago, and started to just full-time use that in Australia, and then he moved into training about 8 or 9 years ago. In fact, more than that, I think it was about 10 years ago now, he moved into training of the facilitators. So he's the founder of the LSP method, which is a group, international group, coming in, and Miriam O'Donoghue, who may join us. She was seeing if she could do it, as she's on the road at the moment. She's coming in from Ireland, very experienced educator. She's also trains in the 6 bricks method. She's a facilitator. She's quite prominent in facilitation community in the United Kingdom, and she'll be part of the training team we have in Da Nang. I'll be a part of it. I've introduced myself earlier, along with Flanan, who is emerging as a trainer. So she's a new trainer in this area. The first day, we're going to take you through the process of a LEGO Serious Play workshop. How does it work? You're going to experience it as a participant, but after each stage of that process, we're going to then sit down and we're going to talk about what happened, reflect on what was happening and explaining why certain things happened in that process. So this is going to happen for most of the day on the Saturday. And then at the end of the day, we're going to move into how do you design your workshop? What is that process of putting together a really good workshop? How do you integrate LEGO Serious Play into what you're already doing? That's all finished for the day, and we can promise it's actually quite an intense day. It's quite likely you're going to be feeling fatigued at the end of that. And then there's a little bit of homework overnight where you're working on a draft of the workshop. And that's what you'll bring in on the Sunday, on the second day. And we're going to start by reviewing and discussing your draft designs. And so this will be really where you're able to get feedback from a team of us, not just one of us, everyone actually. It's not just the trainers, it's everyone will be able to be a part of giving feedback on that. And this is a very valuable session in terms of being able to start to play around with ideas. And then we're going to move, we will probably on the Sunday do a little bit on systems builds in LEGO Serious Play, and actually how to use this in the bigger system. And then the remainder of the day, and this is probably the larger part of the day, will be on you being able to been practicing and providing a sample facilitation session. This is where you get to practice what it was you were learning the previous day. And all those getting certified will have a space to be able to practice this, to be able to run probably at least 2 activities. And so we'll start, you'll be able to just do a warm-up, or what we call a skills build, and you move into the individual build. And there is a chance that we'll be able to do the starting of a group or team build. And so that's going to be day 2. Now, on the investment for this, the investment, and if you compare with the cost around other parts of the world, this is actually this is good value. The investment for this is $2,100 and we can offer split payment on this. You don't need to pay all this up front. We can split the payment. For Vietnam residents, for local residents, it's $1,650 plus VAT on that. And so that brings the cost down to just a little under $1,800. Now, on the Monday, so this is following that, we had the advanced certification. And if you're already a LEGO certified as a LEGO Serious Play facilitator and you want to broaden your practice, you want to have some more tools as a LSP facilitator, we're offering an advanced certification. And in this, you can be mastering how do you integrate LSP into canvas models and frameworks. So I'm going to have Michaelis talk in a moment about what he's going to be doing, his part. Again, there are 4 of us involved in this. Miriam is, I'm going to let Michaelis go first. I will also be a part of this where I'm going to be providing some of the background to canvases and talking in a broader sense of where do you get these canvases. And I'm also looking at the use of canvases and what we call strategic foresight. And this is where you're looking into the future scenarios. And so it's using it in different scenarios and trying to work out what are the possible situations that our organization may be dealing with. What's going to be happening in the environment? And so I'm going to be looking at it in terms of future-looking process. It's going to be again in the same place. And so this is really an overview of what it is we're looking at. We're going to be providing some alternative warm-up activities that you'll be able to use, but then going into a hands-on process. And I'm going to ask Michaelis to come on. I'm going to stop the share and talk about what he's going to be doing. And this is going to be a hands-on. You'll get to experience the process of using LEGO Serious Play with the business model canvas. And we'll be introducing our key guy as well into this. And so I'm stopping sharing. Michaelis, if you'd like to share a bit more about what you're going to be doing in the advanced certification.
Yes, maybe you're surprised. I'm not nominated for the long distance on Saturday and Sunday, because I'm a participant to improve my English on Saturday and Sunday. But you see me, I was nominated for Monday, like Olympic Games, for the short distance with 2 hours or maybe 2 hours with a um, business model canvas. I developed a close a template is 2 meters bright and 1.5 meters in the other side, and I use it several times in my um, LSP certificated courses. Between the first and the second day in the evening, by beer and pizza, we get in 2 hours several business cases in one template. The participants have 5 minutes per the field. This template have 9 fields, and after 5 minutes, they change to the next field and build the models with LEGO Serious Play. And after 45 minutes, we get a break, and then we start to share the stories. Every participant um, shared the story to the other 6 or 7 participants. And so we can see in 2 hours, in only 2 hours, 7 beautiful and very successful um, uh, business canvas models in one side. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so this is what I have to tell you on Monday in Danang, and also the Ikigai, maybe as an example, but the business model canvas, it's for doing as a training for you.
Yeah. So what we're going to be doing, thank you, Michaelis, for this. So what we're going to be doing is on the Monday, again, it's going to be hands-on, but we'll be introducing the use of some canvases. We'll go in depth in the business model canvas. We may even have a KKA canvas available. We're still looking into that one, but that will be more introducing different kinds of canvases and approaches. And this is what Miriam's going to be doing in her session as well. She is an experienced facilitator, and she's going to be showing how you can just take some flip chart paper and a pen, and in the middle of a session, when you are working with the participants in a workshop, you can actually develop a canvas on the fly. And she's going to be using concentric circles, she's going to be doing quadrants, and showing how you can develop a part of the workshop using those. You don't need necessarily something that's already been pre-done. We can have flip chart paper, and how you can then be developing, or how a workshop could evolve when you're working with a team or with clients, and use this as part of the process. So Monday is really focused on how can you integrate, how can you take the Lego Serious Play process and integrate it with other tools that are often used by facilitators. And Miriam's just coming in now. And so this is a wonderful timing, Miriam.
Okay.
If you give, yes, thank you. I've just been talking about what you're doing, but please share
And
with us.
apologies that I'm just arriving now. I've been looking for somewhere to pull off the motorway, so this was the first opportunity that I got. So, hi everybody. Yeah, delighted to connect in with you. As
Are
David.
you able to turn the video, your camera on, Miriam?
Okay, sorry about that. Now, why is that not on? Let me have a look. Is
Yes,
my
that's
camera on
good.
now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay,
Thank you.
super. Sorry. The joys of being in the car and trying to hold the phone and do all the necessary. Okay, so hi everybody. Yeah, so as David has probably said to you, I'm coming to you from Ireland right now. But in just a few weeks, I'll be in Da Nang, joining the team for the Lego Serious Play certification training, and then for the advanced training the following day. So, what am I going to be doing? David, I presume you just want me to talk about the advanced training, is
Yep,
it
yep,
right
yep.
now? Yep,
Yep,
super. Okay. So, you've probably heard from Michael, and you know that he's going to be running some amazing Canvas model and Ikigai model frameworks. And so my session is going to focus on something a little bit different. It's around the flexibility of using different canvases, different frameworks. So anybody that knows me knows that I'm sort of quite creative. I can invent a new framework on the spot to meet particular needs. And so what I thought would be useful for us would be to look at some of the canvases, some of the frameworks that I use that have multiple applications, because I love reusing things. So if I have my three, for example, concentric circles, I could use those to look at Covey's, his circles of I suppose control, influence, concern. But I could also use that same canvas that I've drawn maybe onto a tablecloth, or maybe I've drawn it onto a flip chart page, depends on the circumstances. I could use that for so many other things. So, for example, I could use it for retrospectives. So I could do the rose, the bud, and the thorn, and I could get my participants to plot their little micro bills. Maybe they've been doing some action planning. They've come up with lots of little small builds that you would typically do if you were doing a landscape build, and we would plot those onto the circles. And of course, I would, it's all about how we can move them around the circles, how we can actually turn them into roses, into buds, and get rid of those thorns. So they're just a couple of ideas. I mean, I use the quadrants, which is like four sort of squares or rectangles. We plot things onto those. I use the quadrant plus, where we have another space in the middle that we can do a combined build in the center. I use triangles that have like a hierarchy. And this is all about just bringing some order to our builds. It's around maybe just clarifying things for people, that when they see the models set into a space, into a framework, it gives great clarity. It allows us to look at maybe the areas that we need to focus on. And it's another way, it's another lens, as it were, to look at our builds. And it's very creative, but it's also very much around solutions, yeah, just it's isn't Lego Serious Play. It's all about getting good outcomes for our clients and so on. So sometimes it helps to plot onto these kinds of frameworks.
yep.
So does that cover it, David?
Yep, that's great. Thank you for that, Miriam. Thank you for
No problem.
coming in while you're traveling. Really appreciate that. And again, we look forward to you joining
I'm
us in
so
Penang
excited.
in
Yeah.
April. And the bricks, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a wonderful
It's going to
event.
be amazing. It's
Yep.
going to be amazing. I'm hoping some of the people that are with you today might be able to join us. It would be really cool.
Yep. Well, we are recording this, so it's going to be available on our website, probably in a day or two as well. So,
Super.
yep. Thank you very much. Well,
You're very welcome.
all the best as you continue on the road.
Thank you so much. Are you almost finished now?
Yes, I'm towards the latter part of the session. Yeah, we are
Okay.
close to finish.
Okay. Well, let me just stick with you for a few more
Sure,
minutes while I'm parked. Okay.
sure. Okay, so let's go back to that. So that's really the overview of what we are looking at in the advanced certification. It will be a hands-on day as well, where you get to experience some of these processes, but it also will be introducing. We won't have time to go through and actually experience all the canvases. Some of this will be just introducing these are other things that are available. This is where you can find canvases, and really just providing ideas and in terms of how you can integrate it. We will also have some form of manual that will provide information on this, you'll receive a canvas, business model canvas to take away with you. And I'll have some links for where you can download other canvases from. So let me, again, this is the Monday, and the investment, the full day investment, this is $950 if you're flying in. For Vietnam residents, it's $700 plus VAT. But if you're joining us for the training beforehand, and then so doing it as a 3 day, rather than the 3,000 US dollars for the full training, this we're offering at a special price of, it's a bundled price, be 2,575 for international participants, and if you're in Vietnam, it'll be $2,000 for the 3 days plus VAT on top of that. So that is the investment for the full training. And at this point, I'm just got this on the screen. So there's a QR code that you can take a look at. We've got our URL for us. You can email us. But I'm going to stop the share in a moment so that if there are any questions, Samantha, I see that Nock has left at this point. But if you have any questions for us, feel this is your space.